Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel eLearn Tech Skills. My name is Emmanuel and my job is to help you simplify programming so that you can start building your dream project as soon as possible. For the past few tutorials, we've been doing some back-end development with Django and Django REST framework. But in today's tutorial, we're going to do some front-end stuff. So I'm going to teach you how to set up a React project with Vite and uh, Tailwind CSS. Now, you might want to ask, what is Vite? Vite is just like a package manager, just like Webpack. So in this case, we are using Vite because it's super fast compared to using Create React app. So that's where you've been used to while creating React. And if you are new to React as well, this video will be very useful for you. All right, so without further ado, let's get started. So to get started using Vite, it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to take you every step of the way. The first thing you need to do is to kind of create the project itself. So I'm going to open I already opened a folder in my Visual Studio Code. So if you haven't done that, you should do that as well. If I press Ctrl O, you see that in my local directory, I have front-end folder there, and that's the folder I open here. This is not a video about VS Code, so I'm not going to be explaining how to do that. All right, I already have a video and it's listed in the card here where I explain how to use VS Code and so many other things in VS Code. All right, so to continue, I'm going to open my terminal just like this, and you can see that the actual directory that I'm in is listed here. So to start with Vite, I'm going to say npm create. Now, usually, if you want to create React app, you say npm create React app, then you give it a name. But in this case, we're going to just say create, and then you're going to say Vite. But because I want the latest version, I can also put at latest, just like this. And if you do this and press enter, it's going to ask you a few questions like, do you want Vite with React or Vite with Angular or any other frameworks that they have. So once this pop up, we're going to continue. All right, so now that this has happened, so the next thing we're going to do is to specify the name for the project. So for this one, I can call it maybe front end. Of course, the name of your project won't be front end. I'm just using this hypothetically. So it's also asking, do I want vanilla, JavaScript, Vue, React? Of course, in this case, it's React. All right, so it's also asking what language do I want to use? Is it TypeScript or JavaScript? I prefer the JavaScript, so I'm going to click enter. So once this is done, you need to cd, that means change directory into the folder of the project. So if I press ls now, I see that I have front end folder here. So I need to get into that folder, cd front end. I'm going to clear my screen just so I have more space. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do here, let me try to zoom in a little bit just so you guys can see properly. The next thing I want to do here is to say npm install. I can shorten this by just putting hi. It's going to do exactly the same thing. However, Vite actually gave all these instructions. I just clicked very fast. So it gave the instruction before I clear my screen that you should do npm install, and also you should run npm run dev once this installation is done. So I'm going to pause the video. Once this is done, we're going to continue. All right, great. So now that this is done, like we've been able to do that, I'm going to do ls just so we can see what's in there. So if you look at this, you see that we already have our project standard setup. And I'm going to clear my screen just so I can have more space. Now, you can see this is just normal regular React project. However, if you notice a couple of things, you see that in our public folder, there's only image there. you see that the index.html that used to be in the public folder for a normal React app is not there, is actually here. And of course, that's just the way Vite set this up. That's the way Vite sets projects up, React project up. All right, so also notice your package.json. You'll note that we have the name of the app and a couple of things. So I'm going to move on by installing Tailwind CSS, for this project. All right, so and you are going to be noticing all of those dependencies in your package.json file. All right, so now to set up Tailwind CSS is a little bit funky, so I want you to really pay attention. So the first thing you are going to do here is say npm install. Now I want to save it as dependency, so I'm putting this tag there. So Tailwind CSS, just like that. And okay, I'm going to pause the video, and when it's done installing, we're going to continue. All right, cool. So now that this is done, the next thing we want to do is to check out if Tailwind is installed already. And you can see here we have Tailwind CSS, meaning that it's already installed. And the next thing to do is to initialize Tailwind like its own package manager. So I'm going to say npx Tailwind CSS init, then I'm going to put a p tag. So once I press enter, if you notice the file structure here, you see that a couple of things got configured, and that is Tailwind CSS package manager. Of course, in here we're going to point Tailwind to the file that will the extensions we're going to be processing, and the main file that will be running our application. All right, so to continue with that, I'm going to put a couple of things here. So the number one thing I want to specify is the index.html that we have here. So I'm going to put it in a quotes like this, because in this current directory, it should go into index.html. All right. So the next thing I want to also specify is the extensions in the src folder. So if you look at this, you notice that in this current directory, we have src folder. So in the src folder is where we have all of our React components and all the pages and all of that kind of thing. So I'm going to say /src, just the way I did /index. So I'm going to say all the file, that be double asterisk, single asterisk. After that, I'm going to also join with all kinds of file extension we are possibly to have in a React app. So if we have JS file, if we have TS for TypeScript, we have JSX, it's just the the Ginger template that React provide for running HTML code. All right. So then CSX, this. All right. So for you to use JavaScript template for HTML is this one. For TypeScript template for HTML is this one. So we have covered all cases that you're likely to use in your normal regular React app. And that's just what we've just configured here. So if you have been able to set this up, the next thing we are going to do is in our src folder, we're going to look for index.css file. So in this index.css file, I'm going to get rid of all of these guys, and I want to replace with Tailwind CSS. So what I'm going to do is just to paste these lines. So Tailwind base, Tailwind component, Tailwind utilities. So we are going to be able to use all of this fantastic stuff in like Tailwind, stuff. So now if you look at this in our main.jsx, you'll see that index.css is here, meaning that this particular CSS folder is global to all your application. So that means any of your app can use Tailwind CSS without sweat. And of course, because it's a dependency, you don't need to specify, put in a new link or anything like that. All right. So now that we are done with all of that, let's run the app and see if we got error or not. So I'm going to clear the screen. I'm going to say npm run dev. Now, suppose what you would do normally in a React app, saying things like npm create React app. Okay, so I think I have some trouble. Oh, okay, so I think there's a dependency I didn't install that I specify with my p tag. All right, I'm just going to put that up. So normally what I could have done is npm install, then Tailwind CSS, then post CSS, and then auto prefixer. So now these two are just, like a CSS extension that will add some syntax to your Tailwind. But of course, I already installed Tailwind. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to just install these two. I'm going to pause the video. Once it's done, we're going to get back. All right, so now that these two are done, I'm going to, I didn't install as dependency as well. Let me check the package JSON if it's there. So I don't think it's installed as dependency. I'm going to put, okay, so you can see it's installed as dependencies now. So now that that is done, I think we shouldn't have error anymore. So wow. So now our React app is running at this port, but you notice that the port is ambiguous. You can see normally React app run on port 3000. So to change that, what we're going to do is you go to the part where it says dev and you can see Vite. I'm going to put double hyphen for tag port and I'm going to set it to 3000. You can set it to any number you want. Of course, I want to conform to regular React app. I'm going to terminate the server and also rerun the server back. And if I run the server now, voila, we now have the server running at port 3000. So if I open this up now, you see I now have a working React app, showing up there. So for the purpose of this, I'm going to just minimize this and just put a couple of things just so you see that Tailwind CSS is actually working here. Right. So you can see I have my index dots. Okay. So I hope you can see my screen properly. I just decided to put this off side by side just so you see exactly what is going on here. Let me just put the h3 tag and I'm going to put a class name, let's say bg black text. So, and the good thing I also did was to also install a Tailwind extension to make my work easier. So if I go back to the browser now, oh, because I didn't put any text, I can say YouTube tutorial, just like this. I didn't put any text, that's why. You can see we now have a background of black and then YouTube tutorial as text and it's white. So yeah, you can see how neat and easy this is. And of course, Tailwind CSS is a very powerful tool. Now, I need to kind of show you this. So the Vite itself has its own documentation, and all of this code that we have written so far is from their guide. You can see vitejs.dev/guide. So if you check here now, you see to just the code we run, npm create vite at latest. All right. If you want to use yarn or pnpm, that's fine. All right. So, and then you can create like this npm create vite latest, and then if it is Vue you want to do, you can also specify my Vue app, things like that, and then template Vue. If it's going to be React, you say template React. All right, so in our case, of course, we follow a different route. And of course, after that, you cd into the project folder, and then you do npm install, and then npm run dev, and all of those things. And we went further to also, so basically this is just the way to set up Vite. To set up Tailwind CSS, however, just the process we went through, you need to go to Tailwind, TailwindCSS.com. So once you're on this site, you can click on Get Started, and here you see that they have Tailwind CLI using Post CSS and then framework guides. All right, if you click on and then you click on Vite, you will see all the simple guide here. You can see the way to set up npm create latest, just the way we did the other time, and also npm install the and all of this nesting, and then npm install tailwind init p to initialize the tailwind dependency or package manager file. So after that, you need to configure this, which is what we did here as well. Oh, sorry. What we did here, vite config, no, not in here, tailwind. So all of these things that we have here. So those are the things they are talking about here. And here you need to have in your index.css file, you need to have these ones. Then you can run your dev, and then you can start typing Tailwind CSS code. All right, so like I promised in the beginning of the tutorial, I said I was going to teach you how to set up React on top of Vite, and then also include Tailwind CSS. And that's the entire process. In the next tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you how to actually use Tailwind CSS, and we go further by also exploring React Router DOM. And I have an exciting, tutorial about how to really optimize using React Router DOM, even if you have been using it before. I'm going to show you a better way of using React Router DOM, using the outlet, and also, using custom routes instead of using app.js like we are using here. So we're going to change that up to actually use a custom route, a dedicated route that all the components are taken from, and also to do conditional route or protected route. So all of those things we're going to do in the subsequent tutorial. So thank you for making it to the end of the tutorial. If this tutorial has helped you in any way, please subscribe to my channel, like my video, and share so that more people just like you can learn from what I'm teaching. Right? So please subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel, like my video, and see you in the next one. Thank you.